So right now I'm here sitting with Sheila. Sheila, thank you again for being here today. Sheila is a former study abroad student of ours. She went to Jamaica 1 year, and then she decided to go to Egypt this past summer. And she's working on a book project with the African Library Project, which I'm very excited to hear more about. And so, Sheila, thank you for being here with me today and for being able to talk about your experiences and also about this project that you're doing right now. This African Library Project, how did you hear about it?
Well, I'm not sure how it actually came across my consciousness, but I lived in East Palo Alto about 10 years ago. And the lady that runs this program is from Portola Valley. So it's a local program to the Bay Area. The lady Chris went on a trip with her family to Lesotho and realized that they didn't have any books there. Did a family trip to Africa, and her son wanted to read a book or something, and it was just like, oh, we're not in Portola Valley anymore. There are no books. There aren't that many options for people. So when they came home, her and her children started this project where they collected gently used children's books and sent them to Africa, to a primary school in Africa. And since then, 10 years ago, it's blown up to they've sent over 2,000 libraries and 2 million books to 7 different countries in Africa. And the thing that I really love about it, it's so accessible to anyone in the U.S. because what you do is you collect 1,000 gently used children's books, and they want children's books because they need the children. There are no books there in the 7 countries where the books are going to, right? So they need books that the children are accessible. They can start learning how to read. So they typically want kindergarten to 8th grade books, which are real easy to collect it up. You can go around, do a book drive, go to the thrift store. It's so easy to get books here. Then you collect a little bit of money to ship them to New Orleans, and then the African Library takes it from there, puts them on a container, sends them to Africa. They've already established relationships with all the different schools that want these books. Each school actually requests the books. They have a dedicated space for the book, and they have a dedicated person to look after the books in Africa. Once your books have reached to Africa, they are welcomed and taken care of. And just, people, we get the postcards back from the youth that are so thankful. Thank you for helping us learn how to read. Because the countries where the books go are English, is the official language. It's not their native language, but it is the official language. And, everybody needs to learn how to read. I mean, we're going to live in this world together. We need to be educated. We need to educate each other. We need to make sure our children are all educated. Africa is going to be 39% of the world's population by the year 2100. And most of the people that live there, 50% of them are like under 25 years of age right now. So there's a lot of children there. And I just love the African Library Project because I feel like I can do something to help support those children across the world, and they love it. It's like a win-win all the way around. And it keeps books out of the landfill because so much stuff gets thrown away that, people all over the world would love to have those things, those resources that we throw away.
Right. You were just saying you were walking down Chinatown, you saw a dumpster and there was a stack of books that were there, and you're like, oh, I could send these as part of the program too. Now, you said the books that you're sending are going to Uganda, but they also, do you know what the other countries are that they're sending them to? Or
Okay, let me count now. There's 6 countries, okay? So there's Lesotho, there's Kenya. I think Kenya and Ghana. You know what? That's a hard question, Drew. Let me look at my paper right now. Let me see if I can find it.
yeah, while you're looking for that, and I also wanted to share. So Sheila was a part of our study abroad program to Jamaica in 2018. And if you go back and listen to episode 1 of our international conversation show, we had Aldane on the show, who's a former student of ours from Jamaica, who was sharing about his experiences. And what I loved about that conversation with Aldane, if you go back and listen to it, again, episode 1, is he went back to Jamaica, and the thing that he missed the most was the beach. And living here in the Bay Area for 2 years, he forgot how lucky he was to live, just a couple blocks from a warm beach. Where here in San Francisco, the beach is cold, the ocean's cold. But then Sheila took a class this past summer, which we're going to get a chance to talk about, where she studied Arabic for 2 weeks and then went to Egypt and studied, finished the class in Egypt for 2 weeks studying Arabic. But were you able to find those 6 countries that the African Library Project is supporting here?
Yes. The African Library Project is so awesome. They do all the groundwork. They make all the connections with the country. They are a charity that is very highly recommended. And the countries that they send books to are Ghana, Botswana, Kenya, Malawi, Lesotho, and this year we're starting one to Uganda. That's where my books are going, to a primary school and a public library in Uganda.
Wow, that's awesome. And again, if you wanted to learn more about the African Library Project, it's africanlibraryproject.org if you want to get involved. It starts and improves small libraries in sub-Saharan Africa. Just collect 1,000 gently used children's books to help start a library. Their slogan is changing lives book by book. Sounds like an amazing, amazing project. Now, so where should we start? Should we start with your program to Jamaica that you did in 2018 or Egypt this past summer? I'll let you decide which one you want to share about first here.
Yes, both of them were life-changing experiences. The people were so beautiful, so kind. The weather was lovely. I learned a lot.
Which program first do you want to talk about here? Do you want to go through Jamaica?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about Jamaica first. Okay.
The Social Justice Initiative in Jamaica. I'm still in touch with all those people I met up the hill in the Maroon County. We are all Facebook friends, which is just awesome. I was fascinated when I found out that back in 1700, those African slaves that landed in Jamaica ran up the hill to the Maroon Country and were never enslaved. So while we're all here, living through the tragedy of slavery, those Africans that landed in Jamaica and broke for the hills have been free ever since. So they've been cultivating their lifestyle, their crafts, their family, their dance, and their music and their healing. It's been hard for them because, of course, even though the British government gave them their freedom back in 1700, there have been no resources for them up there. You know what I mean? They were cut off. The British weren't going to go up there and try to rout them out of there or fight them anymore. But, of course, there were no resources that went to them. And that was okay because in Jamaica, you can live off the land. So they made a really good, beautiful life for themselves up there. They keep on with their traditions and they connect with the indigenous people all over the world. Some of those people up there in Charlestown go to Suriname and Australia. They also have a conference up there every year where they invite indigenous people from all over the world to come in and talk about how we're going to live on this planet together and love one another. And that's what the people in Jamaica are really about. And it was wonderful.
Wow. And then you went to Egypt this past summer as well. And the class started 2 weeks on campus at Berkeley City College, beginning conversational Arabic. And then you went to Egypt. Did you learn some Arabic while you're here? What can you say something in Arabic that you learned in the class?
Shukran, that means thank you. And yeah, I had never learned any Arabic before, so that was like really new for me. But being in Egypt was just wonderful because the relics and the antiquities are fascinating. The weather is warm. The city is huge. Cairo is like New York City times 10, believe it or not. It's a huge city of 11 million people. And it was just wonderful. I just love the warm weather. I love the friendly people. I love seeing all the antiquities. Hearing the language, there's a lot of English spoken there. So Arabic was kind of like part of it, but you could still enjoy yourself without, being able to speak Arabic, because English, of course, in Egypt and Cairo is, well understood. But it was a beautiful place. It was wonderful. The Nile is amazing. Everything you think is true, it really is true when you hit there. It's fabulous.
Wow. And yeah, they went on a cruise on the Nile River. The first picture that I saw when you guys got back was a picture of all of you guys on camels in front of the pyramids. I was like, how can you get a better experience than that in Egypt than riding camels in front of the pyramids? But what was that like? Did you get on one of the camels? What was that like, riding a camel? Or
Yes, our hotel was right next to the Giza and the Sphinx. And the Giza Pyramid and the Sphinx, our hotel was like a half a mile away. So that's the first thing we went to. We went to the Giza Pyramid. We saw the Sphinx. We kissed the Sphinx. We put our hand on the pyramid, and we got on the camel and rode around, all of us. It was fascinating.
Oh, that's awesome. And now Sheila's studying at San Francisco State fashion design. Is that correct?
Masters in Family and Consumer Sciences. Masters in Family and Consumer Sciences. So I do apparel design and manufacturing, and they have it's like home ec, Masters in home ec. Yes.
And you were also sharing about possibly going to Congo.
Yes.
Can you share about the Fashion Week and what you were going to participate out in Congo with?
Now that I've been so bravely traveling around with Peralta to Egypt and Jamaica, I decided to make my own little trip. I'm going to go visit my girlfriend in the Congo. She works for the State Department there. She'll be stationed there from September to next September. And so she invited me to come so I can come stay with her. And it so happens that the Fashion Week that they have in Congo is also going on this month as well. So hopefully I'll be able to combine my visit, exploring the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm going to the city of Kinshasa and visiting my friend Kinshasa, and hopefully getting lots of African fabric and going to Fashion Week too. So I'm very excited, and I feel brave. I went and got my yellow fever shot. I got my visa. I bought my ticket. I'm like, yeah, I can do this because y'all showed me the way. It can be done. I've been to Jamaica and Africa with y'all, and it's so fabulous. It's been wonderful, really wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing those experiences, Sheila, and really hope you have a great time. Again, I want to remind you, African Library Project, if you're interested in participating, just go to africanlibraryproject.org. And thank you again for being here, Sheila. It's really great to see you, and welcome back from Egypt, and I hope you have a great time in the Congo.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the opportunities. I really appreciate it. It's changed my life for the better.